Alola Pokemon trainers, my name's Ozzymitsu and welcome back to my channel. How are you liking Alola month so far? As you may be aware, every Tuesday of this month I'm going to be bringing you an evolution solution video where I discuss and compare a regional variant found in Alola with its Cantonian counterpart. Last week we reviewed Persian with Alolan Persian. If you want to familiarise yourself with the series as a whole, click on the icon on the top right corner of the screen, which will take you to the entire evolution solution playlist. I've also placed a link to the playlist in the description below for your convenience. Today we're going to be looking at Muk and Alolan Muk. So let's not muck around and get this video underway. Let's start with Cantonian Muk. Muk evolves from Grimer at level 38. Muk is a pure poison type, which means it's weak to ground and psychic, whilst resisting fighting, poison, bug, grass and fairy, but doesn't have any type immunities. However, it is a good solid typing in my opinion, especially for a defensive Pokemon like Muk. Cantonian Muk also has 3 abilities. One of its primary abilities are Stench. Prior to Generation 3, it acted as a repellent to wild Pokemon, however it has gained some uses in competitive battling since then, in which it may cause your target to flinch when hit by a damage dealing move, but it should be noted holding the King's Rock or Razor Fang won't up the flinch chance. Its second ability is Sticky Hold, which in my opinion is a pretty useful ability for a defensive Pokemon. It basically prevents you from losing your item by Thief, Bug Bite, Knockoff, Trick and so on. So just imagine a Black Sludge Muk getting hit by Knockoff and still retaining that recovery. In my opinion, a pretty decent ability. Its hidden ability is Poison Touch, which as the name suggests, poisons the target upon contact. Moving on to its stats, in my opinion it has some pretty respectable stats, being able to hit hard with a respectable 100 base physical attack stat, while still being able to tank a hit with a fairly decent base 75 defense stat and a really nice 100 base special defense stat. In terms of a moveset, there's certainly a lot of ways to use this little guy. Opt for Power Up Punch to increase your attack by 1 stage while still dealing some damage. This is also a nice way to set up while sidestepping a problematic taunt user who will shut you down otherwise. Stockpile is just to increase your defenses even further, so you'll be very difficult to take down after 1 or 2 stockpiles. Gungshot for your main stab move and Protect to scout what your opponent is going to do, as well as a turn for recovery, considering the best item to give Muk would be the Black Sludge. The ability I'd go for here is Sticky Hold or Poison Touch. In terms of the EV spread, I'd give it 220 in HP, max defense and the rest in special defense. So you're basically really tough to take out while still being able to inflict some nice damage. I'd also opt for the Impish nature here to boost your defenses whilst decreasing your special attack, which you won't be using anyway. The only problem here is that steel types will completely wall you out. If you are worried about steel types, you can get rid of Protect in exchange for Fire Punch, which also had some nice coverage. You don't really need to cover your psychic weakness as your main stab move is neutral damage anyway, but if you did really care you can run the following: Brick Break, Fire Punch, Shadow Sneak for priority and Poison Jab. Run the Adamant nature with max attack and HP whilst holding a life orb and try to take out as much as you can. In all honesty, I prefer the first set as it complements Muk's natural bulk far better. Let's move on to Alolan Muk and see what it has going on for it. Alolan Muk evolves from Alolan Grimer at level 38. It is a dual poison dark type, meaning it is weak to just ground. It resists poison, ghost, grass and dark whilst having an immunity to psychic. We can already see a core difference here, that being Alolan Grimer, although has fewer resistances, has only 1 weakness and an immunity to psychic. The 2 types complement each other as the part poison type neutralizes all of the weaknesses dark types have, whilst the dark type grants an immunity to one of the poison type's weaknesses. It couldn't do anything against the ground weakness though, but even still, having 1 weakness in exchange for fewer resistances is a good trade-off in my opinion. In terms of Alolan Muk's abilities, it has 3. Just like Cantonian Muk's hidden ability, one of Alolan Muk's primary abilities are Poison Touch, which as touched upon previously, has a chance of poisoning your foe upon contact. Its second ability is Gluttony, which encourages early use of the consumption of berries that are related to HP, so for example a citrus berry, whilst its hidden ability Power of Alchemy, which copies the ability of a defeated adjacent ally. So kind of like with abilities like Trace or Download, it is very situational. It can be both a blessing and a curse, and for me personally I wouldn't bother trying to hunt for a hidden ability Grimer, as you're better off going for Poison Touch anyway, plus this ability only works in doubles. Alolan Muk shares the exact same base stats as Cantonian Muk, so it has a naturally high HP stat and is very specially defensive, whilst having lackluster speed and physical defense. In terms of a moveset, I was thinking of a berry strategy to complement its Gluttony ability. So what I would run is Knockoff, Poison Jab or Gunk Shot, Shadow Sneak and Disable. Have it hold an item like a citrus berry or an Ipapa berry, which although may cause confusion, restores your HP. This effectively means you'll need to take out Muk 1.5 times, which will be really tough. Coupled with its slow speed stat, if you're predicting a super effective hit that you think you'll tank, hit Disable and then you're laughing. or in doubles run Trick Room so you go first, and then disable the move on the next turn if your opponent does indeed go for super effective damage. Here I'd run max physical defense, max attack and the rest in HP, as you're naturally specially defensive anyway, but you can run the rest in special defense over hit point if you really wanted to. You can go for any sort of defensive nature like Sassy. If you're using it in doubles, this can be further augmented under Trick Room. If you didn't want to run Disable, you can run Stockpile, which raises both defenses by one stage, and on your third Stockpile, activate the Z move for Stockpile by giving Alolan Muk the Normalium Z, which will restore all your HP, which is definitely something that will frustrate your opponent. Looking at the two from an analytics standpoint, they both have the same stats, so we'll be playing similar roles in competitive play. Alolan Muk, however, has the better typing due to having an immunity, whilst having 4 good resistances, but Cantonian Muk's 2 weaknesses and resistances to types like Fighting and Fairy aren't to be sniffed at, as they're pretty common on the competitive field. In terms of their abilities, I'd say Alolan Muk wins here, mainly because a common staple people would opt for is Poison Touch. It's reliable, it's consistent, and it just works, and you don't have to worry about finding a hidden ability one. In terms of their move pool, again Alolan Muk wins here. It learns slightly more moves through level up and TMs, but this again boils down to the fact it is a dual type. It naturally would make sense for it to get access to more moves, most notably dark and poison moves, obviously. The only thing they draw on is their stats because they are the same, although Alolan Muk benefits from them more due to how you can play around with its EVs and it can do anything Cantonian Muk can do, but just better. But what do I think taking competitive play out of the question? Honestly, I'm always drawn to Pokemon with interesting type combinations that make them have fewer weaknesses. I also really like its design, its colour scheme to me is very appealing. I can't really articulate it really well, all I can just say is that I really like it. What about you guys? Which Pokemon do you prefer, Cantonian Muk or Alolan Muk? Let me know in the comment section below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And on that note, thank you for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave this video a thumbs up, as that really helps me out, as well as subscribing to my channel so you never miss a video from me. Follow me on all my social media platforms to keep up to date with what I'm getting up to. And with all that being said, I'll see you guys very soon. Bye!